Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to continue to work on the cover thumbnails and work with the lighting. So just going to give you guys an idea of some of the research that I know I mentioned in a previous video that I think the last video that I did look up ideas of other comic covers, and I just really didn't find anything that I generally liked. So here's an idea of some of the stuff that I researched. Like these are from How to Think and When You Draw. I was looking up like the effects and stuff, like how they do effects, like flames in general, not necessarily like the hair or eyes, but just in general. They had some ideas for like covers. Even though I did look at these, I didn't even read all this stuff, but it just, none of them, I didn't like them. These were from indie Kickstarter comics, because I wanted to see what they were doing as well, to try to get some type of inspiration. I do love all the layouts. I think they look badass, specifically that one. I even looked up like magic and stuff like that when it comes to like battles, yada yada yada. And then I had like my thumbnails that I had drawn out for characters. So I'm gonna pull up Lynk here. I've got my reference for lighting that I'm gonna continue to use in reference, but also I have this program that I can use. Specifically use it for posing, but because it offers lighting, I can mess with the lighting of the character and use that to pretty much do this. And that's what I did last time, honestly, to really understand the forms and stuff like that. So that's what I'll be using to kind of help get an idea of what the lighting will look like on each character from that particular view. So this one, of course, is from, and then previously, this was the layout that we had chosen, right? These are the angles that I want to try with for the lighting. And then the previous video, I even showed you guys some of the digital stuff that I had done to try to lay out home. Sorry, talking to my dog here. To try to come up with ideas for the comic layout that I wanted. So, and then I settled on this. This is what I wanted to settle on. So, this, of course, is from this point here. So now we are going to do maybe this. Let's try this view here. And I will do, what I'll do is I'll do this. Kind of show that. It's crooked and I don't like it. I know it doesn't matter, but I've got YouTube on my TV while I've got music in my headphones. But let's go ahead and change this particular character. I'm going to change the lighting. Where's the lighting? Lighting. It's on one of these. There we go. There we go. So now we have an idea of what this is going to look like. All right. So once again, we're just roughing it in. I'm not too concerned about the details of the face. Everything's kind of rough. I'm just trying to get an idea of what it could possibly look like. And then this was probably going to be all covered in shadow here. And this, and then that's probably more. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to. Here we go. This is probably gonna be. Let me see here, and then we've got the form of the chest area. It's gonna be covered, and then the deltoid and the arm area. This whole side's gonna be covered. Got the underside slightly, maybe, and then this area, depending on the form. And like I said, I don't have the armor and stuff, of course, drawn out, because that, of course, would affect the lighting of the body, but doing this kind of gives me an idea of what I'm looking to expect, even with the armor. Because even this is going to pop out maybe here. And depending on how this arm is folded, that also might be covered in shadow, give or take. So there's that. This might be more covered. Boom. And even though it looks weird right now because it's only one figure that's shaded, and that's how it was with this one as well. When I did this one, when I first laid this first character in, it looked completely off. It wasn't until I got all the other figures put in as far as the rendering that it started to give that idea of where the light was actually coming from. So sometimes that is what you have to do. Especially with the thumbnail, that gets a thumbnail aspect, I think, played a part in that. This particular person, like they might have. And of course, like if this was what I would want to go with as far as the idea of like the lighting, I would of course can't think. I would of course, definitely take my time and lay out all the stuff that would go into making sure like the forms and stuff were right, and making sure that the face, especially like the face area, would look correct. And maybe this would be covered because of where the light is. The area would probably be, because it's coming from up, so I don't want to cover it too much. Depending on how the arm is bent, that might be covered. This would probably be covered depending on the arm. So there's that. I'm trying to think. Same with this guy here, because this is another guy, right? So I've had to put the lips in. And then same with this guy. And then the face. And then depending. Let me go here. And then, because it's coming at from an angle instead of like straight up, so that curve of the light would hit the form of the chest differently. Let's see, the underside here would be covered, and then this would be covered back here, that shoulder area. So there's that. And maybe the rib cage would hint a little bit there. And then maybe like the inside abs area. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just getting an idea for it. No. So let's try this character in the back here. This one's gonna be a little bit different because this is all covered here. Chest area. Of course, this goes like that. And of course, I guess, you know, if you're trying this stuff out, it doesn't have to be, if you feel like maybe shadows might go better at a certain area, you know, try it out, see how it works for you. Don't feel like you have to be stuck in a particular layout or you have to draw something exactly one for one. An example of this would be I think there are a few comic artists that talk about like how they will play around with the shadows and add shadows where normally you may not see a shadow to help with the like cool factor of an image. So you know, so that's that character. Now, because it's coming this way, their faces are definitely going to be, I feel like, more pronounced. Now, these characters might look a little bit different, but maybe not so much. Maybe? No, because so you know you'd still have it lit up on this side. This is a female character. I'm gonna keep it simple here, but the head is not gonna be too much lit. It might be on this side. Might have more shadow. And then because of that light coming up, this is going to be blocked. You've got the and then maybe here because of the angle, and this is probably going to be shaded here. Maybe the rib cage here area. So there's that. Oh, you know what I didn't do before I started drawing? I didn't freaking warm up, but that's okay. I consider this like a warm up then. This is part of this, the neck will be covered in shadow. I'll leave that for right now. We'll do the other character up here. This is shadow and then here and then Well, then maybe something like that. That's it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of get an idea here. And then this would be covered because the ribcage area. And yeah, we'll leave that there. And then maybe this would actually, like that might be slightly covered because of the light coming through this way. So I'm trying to think of form here, and even if it's not showing in my picture, I still want to think about maybe how it would interact, even if it's not showing in my reference. And like if I was doing, if this was the choice that I was making, like I would probably draw the planes of the face out to make sure that I was getting everything somewhat correct with the form. I would draw the planes out. And then the rib cage would then be an indicator, would be indicated here. And then if this, of course, maybe if it's coming from the top, so maybe I would do something more like this to kind of get the, and that will probably come down here, something like that along those lines. Let me see. This is that's amazing. Oh, that's good. One of my friends messaged me. I have to check what she sent later. So that's coming from here. Honestly, I'm not really feeling this one, but here's the thing. I wouldn't have known unless I did a thumbnail. I'm not really feeling this layout. I still like this one. This has more of a drum, like I don't know, like this has like, I feel like this has more of a punch. And just to make sure, I'll darken this stuff out because that also might be a factor, like because this is, I feel like this is darker than this over here with certain marks. So I'll go in and like make sure that they're as dark, just to make sure that it's not like the darkness that I'm more drawn to, and it's actually the layout of the layout of the lighting and how it might hit the characters. And honestly, I might could just color that in just to kind of help. This is like, this is lighter than that would be colored. There we go. All right, so that's done. Now, we're gonna try 1, 2. I'm just want to try with this one. I think maybe. Trying to think. Do I want to try this one here or this one going this way? We'll try this way because I'm not really what's what I'm looking for. I'm not really confident on the outcome of this one, but because they'll pretty much be a reverse of this one, but you never know. You never know. Take it slow. All right, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to change the lighting. Let me make sure I don't have any other lights going on here, because that also might be affecting what I'm seeing here. Let me see. So there's that. Let me see. What else am I working with here? There was something that I had going on here for color or for the shadows that I think it's causing some issues here. Let me see. That's not it. There's that. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's not what I was looking for. All right, so light's coming from this way at a downward view. So this is going to be shaded here, and then you have the eyes, and then you've got the lips. I'm going to do that real quick. And then this is covered in shadow. Of course, this is covered, which I don't think I did on that one. And technically, there'd probably be more in shadow, but that's not what I'm going to focus on right now. I'm pretty sure all that will be covered. Whatever. All right, so once again, kind of just to kind of go into the idea again, once again, because I'm only working with one figure at the moment, it looks off. Even to me, it looks off. But, ooh, I didn't mean to do that, whatever. But, because it's hitting that side. But, do it this way to kind of help indicate that that's, this is being hit by the light. But, yeah, so it may not look right at first, and that's fine. That is completely fine while I'm thumbnailing this out. And this side here would be in shadow, and probably an indicator of the rib cage here, maybe, depending on. Well, I keep drawing the rib cage in, but honestly, with trying to think. With the armor and stuff, of course you wouldn't see, I mean, unless you were doing like that skin tight armor, but you wouldn't really see a indicator of the ribs or anything because it would be covered up with armor, of course. But can help give an idea. Maybe this will be covered here. So then maybe muscles. So there's that. Yeah. Since I'm doing the females, I'll do all this stuff first. I'll do the females first, and then I'll go with the guys. Because I already have my character set up as a female, so might as well go ahead and knock out all the females versus having to constantly change it. And because everything's coming from this side, you're gonna have a lot of this covered in darkness here. That's gonna also help play off of the lights coming from this side, because these characters on this side, it's gonna be almost blacked out entirely to help indicate that they're being lit from this side. There's not much going on here that would help indicate maybe that. And then maybe the ribcage slightly. But yeah, these characters are going to be almost blacked out entirely. Not too much form going on with that. Let me do this character down here. And then her whole, this will be covered in shadow. And then like the face would pretty much be in shadow. Pretty much. Which means even these particular characters, depending on how far they're turned, their faces are mainly in shadow too, right? Let me see here. Let's see here. Trying to remember the form here. So this would be covered. There's going to be some part of the chest that would be hit with some light. That's why it's not completely like shaded out. Put back. Oh yeah. We've got one more female I have to do. So we'll do her. That's her here. And honestly, there's not going to be too much shadow on this side of the figure. You'll have some here in the top or part. And then, of course, maybe some in the face, but not as much because of the light is hitting more of this figure. You still have got the chest area that's going to be slightly covered in certain areas, but there's not going to be too much shadow going on here. A little bit here from the rib cage. not too much going in shadow that I have. Similar to this one almost. So it's kind of like a reverse. So technically, I mean, if I wanted to, I could cover more of this area and do it that way, but it is what it is. Because even the head is not going to be covered much in shadow, just the side that's away from the light, of course. All right. Ooh, 60 years old. Thank the Lord it's cold. For the children who've been born. So let's go to this guy. Let me do it this way because I feel like I can get it in quicker. I'm not trying to fret the details, and then I can darken it later. So, base, the top part would be a little bit in shadow, of course. Depending on the angle of the face, right? It's because it's this part would be this part maybe. This would be blocked, something like that. Something along those lines. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm getting an idea here. To let you go. And then this would probably maybe be covered on this side. I can't see right now. Shallow, so shallow. So same with this guy here. This is going to be covered. This is going to be maybe here, something like that. And then let's draw the face in real quick. Right now my pencil is extremely blunt, so I'm not able to create the smoothest of lines, but that is completely fine at the moment. So you can clearly tell now comparing them that where the light is coming from, and it's definitely definitely helps. Having a better idea of what I'm looking at. Oh, yeah, I was so shallow. And even if I was doing this, I would do, and then this would go down here. Something along those lines, right? I might even, there we go. And if I wanted to, like, I wanted to have a better idea, I could literally try to create a small miniature of like the banner to kind of get an idea of what it would look like for like actual reference. Got one more character here. Forgot that person. And this person is, for the most part, would almost be covered, and shadow just like this person here. The eyes, got the really just maybe here, and then all of this is blacked out, and then here, and this is maybe down here, and then maybe a little bit of here, and this is colored in, and then this whole side here, and then down there. All right, kind of similar to this guy here. All of this would be covered. Run, baby, run, don't ever look back. So something along those lines. Definitely have a better feel for it. Honestly, if I had to pick between this one or this one, I would probably end up picking this one. I feel like I'm used to seeing light come in from the left side for whatever reason. It feels to me more natural. But that's just me. Some people are different. So we've got one more that is planned, and then we still have one free one that we can kind of play around with if we want. And maybe I might do maybe a downward light source. So we've got this one, and so check that one off, because that's this one here. Sorry. So that one's done. We've got this one here, so we can go and check that off. And of course we've got the up part here. So the last one we have is coming from the top left. So what I'm going to do is, so yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So, because I know it's coming in here, I know this part is probably going to be covered. The banner. Because remember, this is a cloth banner, so it's going to have like wrinkles and folds and stuff like that. So, something along those lines, right? Alright. So, we are going to, of course, adjust the lighting for these figures. Lighting is going to come from the top left. Lighting. Let's go back to the lighting. Like from the top left, slightly like from the front. So let's go ahead and work with that. Be with me, summer. I'll say goodbye. All right, so the face here, I feel like this head is weird. Am I tripping? No, I think it's just the line work. I'm just trying to find my place in this world, and I know it's feels great about it. So I'm gonna edit the. I feel like this is weird. I don't know why it looks awkward to me now, but whatever. I know that's not important, but whatever. All right, so I feel like I should sharpen this, but I'm not going to at the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and lay out the features. This is gonna be more colored on the side here, the lips, and then you've got, this is gonna be covered. This is gonna be covered here. Face 2 is gonna be shadowed. What's here? I know it's kind of darker than the previous ones, but that's fine. And then this is colored here. The inside of the arm would be covered. And then that's covered here, and then even something along those lines. And then even slight shadow here with the cheekbones, cheekbone area. So I'll leave it at that. I'll do this. There we go. And that's definitely, so with this particular lighting, it's definitely going to play a different role with these particular characters on this side. Place in this world that no, it's not about the feels about good. Eyes, face, and then a lot of this is going to be covered in shadow. And then some of it's not going to be in shadow though. It's going to be a weird layout. Well, not really a weird layout, but certain things are going to be covered, while certain things are not because of how the light falls on it. This part is covered, the arm area. Yeah, a lot of the face would be covered here. I'm doing the females first. It'll just be easier. So because it's coming from the top, from this, you're not gonna have much in shadow with these particular characters over here. Maybe on the side of the face area, but honestly there's not going to be too much covered in shadow because the light is hitting a lot of these characters. You'll have the underside here that'll be covered in shadow, and then maybe something along those lines, but there's not going to be too much in shadow on these particular characters because the light is kind of hitting it almost dead on for the most part. That's all I have to do, except for the side, right? And then yeah, okay. Same with this particular female here. And then the face would most likely be in shadow. You may have some shadow here. Ugh, my hair. The under boob area, and then side here, and then maybe there. And you don't see the other arm on this side, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Oy. We're at 45 minutes. Jeez. All right, so let's switch it up. Male. Same thing with the male. So this isn't across the board, so what I'm about to say, but I feel like when it comes to the men with the shadows, you might see, and this is specifically dealing with like I'll say the clothed figure. But I feel like the male, you might see more shadows in the face because you might have more like I'm going like based on like superheroes, right? Like your normal superhero proportions. You might see more shadow in the face of a guy than you might a female. Because of the bone structure is more defined, I guess, or more pronounced. And you would see less of that in the female because typically, all right, that's what I'm saying. This is not like across the board, but typically the female face compared to the male face in comics, differentiate in comics. Because I don't want to relate it to real life because, variety and stuff. But in comics, the female face is a lot softer depending on who's drawing the female. So I feel like the female face, when it comes to like shadows and stuff, right, you're not going to see like harsh shadows with the female as much as you would the male. But when it comes to the body, I feel like because the female is more, I'm speaking in generics here, is curvier than the male. I feel like you might see more like dips and stuff because of the curvature of the body, the curves of the body. I'm not sure. I know that's not going to be the case for everything across the board, but that's sometimes I feel like that might be something that might happen. Like you might have more room to play with the shadows. That's okay. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like with a male, you would have more room to play with the shadows on the face. And then with the woman, you would have more room to play with the shadows on the body because of the curves and stuff like that, depending on the shape of the female figure. Like the man, you're gonna have like these, like I'm speaking in generics and comic, like you'd have the men with these more masculine jaws, and more defined muscles, typically, not always. And then a woman with the curves of the body and stuff like that, I feel like you'd be able to definitely play more with the shadows because of the dips of the hips and the curves of the hips and stuff like that. So but you can also have a woman who's more muscular, of course, and defined and more toned. So you could, or has more of an angular structure, more pronounced like jaw lines and stuff like that in the face. And that would allow to have those more maybe harsher shadows in the face if you wanted to do that. I mean, to each his own. All right, so that's it. I feel like my color. I'm just gonna do that. I feel like that might help. Yeah. All right. I'm not really fond of this one, but I wouldn't have known unless I did it, because honestly, when I was first doing these or first planning these thumbnails and the lights that I was gonna go with, I generally thought that I would probably went with something like this one, aka this, because it's something that you normally see, right? You normally see lighting coming down at an angle. And I thought that would have probably worked with this particular thumbnail. When I'm breaking it down to just pretty much black and white. But honestly, because honestly, like, even like if I was to do like the background too, like all of this would be colored in as well. But I'm not gonna do black because I need to be able to differentiate the figures. But these are the thumbnails that I have. I'm gonna do this. I want to be able to put all four in the frame. Back up a little bit. There we go. So these are all four. And honestly, the ones that I like the most are going to be, let me get and I'll probably get my, there's another, I have a friend that lives in Canada. I'm going to reach out to her and probably get her input, just so, and I'll probably even come back to these to figure out what I like, what I might want to try something else, you know, type situation. But for right now, if I had to rate these, I'm going to do a rating system on 1 to 4. This would be 1. Actually, I'm not going to do green. I'm going to do like a neutral color. Do blue. This would be 1 for me. Damn, I'm kind of feeling this one now. 2 would be this one. Maybe 3 here. And then this would be 4. So that's my rating from what I'm liking right now. We'll see. I'll probably come back on another, when I come back on another video, I'll probably hopefully have decided which one I'm going to go with, or maybe I'll do some more lighting ideas and kind of go from there. Honestly, there's only so many more I could do. I mean, technically, if I wanted to, I could play around. Like, I could do one from here. I could do one from here. I can do, I think that's about it. I mean, I can do different, like, variations of, like, the in-betweens, but, I mean, I think those are going to be, I mean, let's see. Let's mess with some lighting here. So if I did this, maybe I might try that on one of these. I'll probably do one coming like straight on from the side here. I don't think I'm gonna do it right now. I'll think about it. And see, because maybe I'll do one from there. So, but that's it for right now. It's only been a 54-minute video, so that's been pretty short. So I might maybe combine this with something else to make it a longer format video. I'm not quite sure, but as far as this one goes for right now, deuces, peace out. And if I combine it with something else, it'll kick in after this. So peace out.